today in your production database, we got the records from 1 to 25,000, right? And tomorrow I'll get 25,000 to 50,000 records. Now, whenever you are going to import the data from the MySQL to the Sqoop, right? So what I'll do now, my job is to import the data from the production database to the Hadoop cluster. So that is a specific role given to me in my office, right? So now what I have to do now, I have to run a Sqoop import such a way. I have to import only the newly added data to the MySQL database, but I'm not supposed to import the complete data every day, right? So today I have
Okay.
imported 25,000 records. The next day I have to import from 25,000 1 to 50,000, but not 1 to 50,000, right? So now,
Hmm.
so this is actually a job role comes, right? Everybody can import, so that's not the big thing. So you write a one query is going to import it, but the challenging job task is because I want to schedule this job to run automatically, right? The thing is
Hmm.
what now I want to create a job. Okay, this job should be scheduled, right? So with some scheduling tools, the job is going to be scheduled. So how it is scheduled? Scheduled to run on specific interval. Okay, job is scheduled to run on specific interval. So how should it import? It should import only updated data. Every day it has to import newly written data. It has to import, right? So my Sqoop import should be such a way that so I have every day I have to run this Sqoop statement to import the data from the production database to the Hadoop cluster, and my import statement should be such a way that it should be import only newly added data from whatever the newly data new rows are added to the MySQL database. I want to import only those statements. So for this is the query which we have to run. Right now we see how to perform Sqoop incremental imports. So this is possible with the concept. We call it as a Sqoop incremental imports. Right. That is now we are going to import only the new written data. So how we write this one, right? It's very easy, right? So as usual, you have to write the Sqoop statement to establish the connection string, right? I wrote a Sqoop, then so as usual, you have to write connection string connect. So we are connecting to JDBC :SQL :/ localhost, right? It's same. And what is the database name we are going to import? Write the database name. Now the table name. What is the table we are going to import? From which table? The table name. Okay. Now how many number of mappers you want to run? Mapper, and where you want to import, I want to import to a specific directory in HDFS. So write target there. So I want to import it to some location like user Cloudera and some 89 directory I want to import, right? So this is what we did till yesterday. Now I have to import the incremental data. For this you have to write a one parameter, that is incremental. Okay, you have to write a one parameter incremental, then give a space. Now how you want to increment? I want to write incremental append. Okay, and so what we did now, so yesterday I have imported the IDs from 1 to 50. So what is the last imported value now? 50, right? The last imported employee ID, some ID field, what is the last value? 50. So remember this last previous import value 50. Now here, so write incremental append, then uh, tell the column name which you want to make increment, like to identify the number of rows, right? So what is that column name? Check column. So here my column name is ID. And so what in the yesterday import, till how many rows you have imported? So what is the last value? That is right here. So 50. So in the last increment imported value is the 50. So right, last value 58. Now what it will do now? It imports the data from the 51 to, so how many rows are written to the MySQL database, that many number of rows are going to be imported, right? So we have some limitations are there, and here the issue is because it's a mine is a bulk amount of data, so I don't remember this value every day, right? So we'll see how to do that. So as of now, first let me run this query. Okay, so as usual, I'm taking the multiple terminals to work on. So it's for the Sqoop, and then one for the HDFS, and so one is we use Sqoop. Okay, right. Right, so let me connect to the MySQL. So you can write MySQL -u, then root -p, then the password is cloudera. Use test. Okay, show tables. Okay, we'll pick one table. So let's start from the right. I'm going to create a table. Create table test2. ID is an integer, and then name is a varchar. Right, now insert into table test2 one. Insert into table. No, we have right, insert into.
First field is the ID name, right?
Yes.
ID name.
Yeah, first one is ID, next one is a name. Right? So I wrote 1, 2, 3 rows. I like. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm particularly creating the table. Okay, now we see.
Mm-hmm.
Select start from test 2. Okay, so we have the 3 rows 1, 2, 3. Ajay, Anushai, Vajja. So now I'll run the Sqoop import. Okay, so right, first make sure that it's not there in HDFS. So Sqoop, sorry, Hadoop space fs hyphen rma test2. Okay, so learn the Sqoop Sqoop import, connect JDBC colon MySQL colon / localhost, and the database name is test, table name is test2. Okay, number of mappers 1. Where I want to import target AI, user Cloudera test 2. right? My target directory is enter. It's a regular Sqoop import. It's not an incremental import. First day import, right? So write the input connects input statement. So write the connection string. The database name is test. The table name is test2. Number of mappers are 1, and I want to write these rows to the SDFS directory test22. Press enter. Okay, see now, right, first day import is completed. We wrote rows to the right retrieve three records, and it's available in SDFS. Now we can see it Hadoop space fs hyphen ls test 22. Right, so we have a part file, right? So this where we are having the data. Now here the screen, so we'll perform the Sqoop incremental import. So before that, now I want to add one more row to the MySQL table. So here I'm writing for Naveen. Okay, now I have wrote new row to the MySQL table. Now I want to import this only newly written row, right? So whenever now in the next import, so now I don't want to import the complete table because already I'm having so 1 to 3 in this part file. So now I have to import only the newly added row from the MySQL, correct? Right, so that is whatever which value we have to import. Now we have to import the fourth row, that is for Naveen, right? So write this as usual. Sqoop connection import localhost takes the table name is test2, number of mappers are 1, and I want to write it to the directory test2. Now specify, so I want to make this as a incremental append, right? So write incremental append, right? Incremental append. Okay, so what is the last column we have to consider? Check column, right? So the column name is id here. Check column is id. So what is the last value? What is the last value in the previous import? That is 3. Okay, so check column is id, last value is 3, right? It's now I'm pressing the enter button. Now it will create one more part file. Now the part file contains the fourth row. So like this, we can import only the newly written data to the SDFS, right? So what I did, just you have to add the parameter incremental space append, and then you have to write some check column, and which column you have to consider at the time of importing. Write the column name and what is the last value. Now, see this one, this Sqoop now always suggests you to remember the last value, right? Now, what is the next this time value? Last value is 4. So when you run this Sqoop statement again, now you have to write this value. Last value
Okay.
is 4. So if you write last value is 4, means now the new row is going to be imported, right? So from the fourth one, so what is the next row you have written, that will be imported to the SDFS. Now you will get the two part files, right? One part file is with the zeros, and the part file is with 1. So this new part file contains fifth row, cat test, then part hyphen m hyphen 00 okay. 4 9. So you can write one more row, 5. Yes. Now, what is the last value which we took imported? Fourth value. So now here in the last value, specify the fourth one. Now it will import the data from the fourth row to next row. Right? Now it has to import only the 5 Shreyas. Press enter. Okay. So now here, how it's is it possible to remember all the time the last value?
No.
No, right? So sometimes it will be very difficult for us to remember the last value. And so if you remember, if you have to remember this last value, and if you want to change the query on every day, then how it is going to be default scheduled job to be run? Because we can't edit the job on every day, right? I am scheduling a job to run on a specific interval on every day, but how you change it? Right? So here it's one limitation here. So what we have to do now, we have to run a Sqoop job. In that Sqoop job, we have to specify this import statement, and we specify the last value as some zero. So when you run this one as a job, okay, so when you run this Sqoop incremental import as a job, then Sqoop by default it remembers the last value. Okay, now the users no need to remember. See here, I'll write. So here, what is the issue? We have user has to remember always the last value, right? So it's a difficult. So now to avoid this one, so we have to create a Sqoop job. We have to create a job, alright, to perform Sqoop incremental import. When you create a job, now this job will remember the last value, right? So now we no need to enter the value. So this cube job will remember the what the value which have imported. It will write those value into its some location. Now whenever you run the next job again, so it takes the last imported value from that particular file, and it imports only the new rows. Okay, so what is how, right, to avoid to remember this last value, we have to run this query as a Sqoop job. So when you run this query as a Sqoop job, then Sqoop remembers this value into its file, right? So whenever you are going to run this Sqoop incremental import as a job, now Sqoop will get this last imported value from the file where it wrote the previous imported value, and it will import the rows from the it will import the next added rows from this previous value. It will have the limitation. Suppose in the incremental import will have the numbers in a sequential one, then only it will import. It works. Suppose if you have
Okay.
something like 1 2 3 then 5 then 4, it won't import. It takes only the last one is fifth one, highest value, so it will throw the error.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay, fine.
the
Yeah.
the limitation is, so your MySQL table must be in a sequential order, right? So you must have one column.
Okay.
So the column must be in a sequential number of rows. Suppose you don't have the sequential rows, then you must have one column with a timestamp, right? Anyone should be there. Otherwise, it won't perform
Okay.
the incremental import. It's a limitation in the incremental import, right? Either you should
Okay.
have the ID in a sequential number. Suppose if you don't have that one, you should have another column in MySQL table, which is a timestamp, which contains a time, right? So anyone should be there to perform the incremental imports. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Now we'll see Sqoop jobs. Okay, how to create a Sqoop job. So Sqoop jobs are the jobs which are scheduled to run automatically, right? So we have to create a job, and then when you run the job, so whatever the statements we wrote in the job is going to be executed. So that's we calling it as a Sqoop jobs. So how to create a Sqoop job? Simple, right? So you have to write a Sqoop, then we have a command is there job. So write Sqoop space job, right? So now which job you want to create, write the create statement and then write the job name, which job you want to write the job name, then you have to write the Sqoop statement. Okay, so what you have to write, you have to write the Sqoop statement. Like suppose here I'll show you. So first Sqoop, then write the job statement, and then I want to create a job, Sqoop job space create, then write the job name. So suppose I want to list something, so right, I'm writing list table. Okay, my job name is list TA, right? So after that we have to write the Sqoop import statement, right? So now write connect jdbc colon mysql colon slash slash localhost. Okay, so what I want to know, I want to list the table, so you have to write the database name. Now this is the job, right? Now so see, I want to list this every day, right? So now what I do now, I won't run this statement every day. So once I'm going to create it as a job, so when I run this job list table, right, it will run this entire statement and it will list the tables, right? Sqoop job will take the four commands. One is Sqoop job, then hyphen hyphen create to create a job. Okay, so then we have a command Sqoop job hyphen hyphen execute to run a job. Okay, so to see what are the jobs are available, we have a command Sqoop job hyphen hyphen list to see the Sqoop jobs created. Okay, to delete a job, Sqoop job hyphen hyphen delete to delete a job. Okay, so we have the four commands are available for the Sqoop job. So to create a job, first we have to write Sqoop space job, then create. So I'm going to create a one job. I'll run here. Let me clear the screen. Press enter. Right? What's saying that? No such tool available. Create the job name, surname. See what is the command we have tried here, right? So sorry, what this list table here has to do, it has to list the tables, right? So what is the command? List tables. See, right, Sqoop, then job, what is the job name? Create, right? Write the job name. My job name is list tab. Okay, so after that what you have to write, you have to write the Sqoop's command. So which command I want to write? I have a command Sqoop space help equate. See, we have a command. See, list tables is a command which lists the available tables in a database, right? So my I want to use list tables, right, to list. So what is the command you have to write? List tables. After that, okay, so write the connection string. Make JDBC colon MySQL colon slash slash localhost. The database name is test. Okay. So now I want to create a job with a job name list tab, and this job will list the tables from the database test. Press enter. Okay. See now job is going to be job is created. Right now, if to check the job, Sqoop space job hyphen list. Okay. See, this is the job which we have created is list tab. Right. See, clear the screen. Okay. How to run this job? Sqoop then job hyphen exec. Okay. Job hyphen execute. Which job I want to execute? List tab. Press enter. Okay. Now it will list the tables from the database test.
Okay.
Okay. So we got an error. Right now the query is executed and the query thrown the error. Right. So I write one more job to import. Right. So how we write now? Okay. So this is the Sqoop import statement. Correct. So to create this as a job, then here Sqoop space job hyphen create. Then write the job name. What is the job name? Import. Right. I'm going to create a job. Uh, day import is the job name. Okay. Right, I wrote a Sqoop space job create, then the job name is day import. Right now what this job will do, it has to import the rows. Right, so write the parameter hyphen then write the import, then write the connection string, database name test table test2. I want import to a directory test24. Right, so I'm going to create a job which will import the rows from the MySQL database to the test24 directory. So this is the job I want to run. So job is going to be created. Okay, now to run this job, Sqoop space job hyphen execute. That is the job name, they import. Okay, now see the job is running and it successfully wrote the rows to a new directory. Correct. So this is how to write a job. Right, so now what we did, now we have imported the directory test4. So how many rows we have imported? Right,
I
see
think
clear,
87.
go to clear. So Hadoop space fs hyphen less test to 4. Right? It will have a part file which contains up to 5. Correct? Hadoop space fsfn start. Then test24 slash path hyphen m hyphen 00000. Okay, now I want to make this Sqoop import job as a Sqoop incremental import. So I want to run it as a job. So where it has to import only the newly imported rows to the MySQL. So how to create this as a job? How to create incremental import as a Sqoop job? Right? We'll see that now. Okay, what? How to write this query? So as usual, write the Sqoop job command. Okay, Sqoop job, then create job name. So I'm giving the job name as everyday import, right? What is the job name? Job name is everyday import, right? So after that, write the import statement, write the connection string, table test2, number of mappers 1 I want to run, I want to write to the directory test25. Okay, so now I want to make this as an incremental import. So write the parameter incremental, then append. Okay, so what is the column you want to check? Right, check column. The column name is ID. So what is the last value? Do we need to remember this last value now? No, right? Because I'm
No.
going to automate this job by default. So I write here 0, right? The first value I'm writing here 0. Last value write as a 0. Now run this command. Right? I want to create a job. Right? It says that in append use append or last method. I wrote some spelling wrong. Let me edit this query. Right, see incremental append. Okay, see now I'm running this. Okay, right now job created successfully. Okay, to list the jobs you can write Sqoop, sorry, job hyphen list. Right, so the job which we created is everyday import. Right, so now I'll import. So to run this job, Sqoop, then space job hyphen execute. Write the job name everyday import. Now it first how many rows it will import? All the 5 rows it will import. Okay, now see here what is the direct name we gave? Hadoop space fs-ls test 25, right? Test 25 will have one part file. Okay, see this cat test file part hyphen m hyphen 00. Okay, so we have 5 rows. Now I'm writing one more row into the MySQL. Okay, sixth one, I'm writing, right, Devi, is enter. Okay, now see here, I have inserted new rows to the MySQL. So now what I wanted to know, I want to run the Sqoop import. Now I'll run the Sqoop job again. So next day I'm running this Sqoop job execute everyday import, press enter. Now this job will import this new row to the MySQL HDFS directory, right? So just you need to run the job, that's it. Okay, now see here, uh, just list this. We'll get another part file, right, with a one, this one, right? We got a new part file. This new part file contains newly written row. Okay, six lane, right? So this is how to create the Sqoop job to perform the everyday imports. Hyphen m and click space one space write the directory target hyphen dir space, right, use slash user cloudera test29. Okay, just a second. We'll make this two. Right, press enter now. Okay, it is saying that error, right? So where is the table name in the query, right? You wrote the connection thing, then you wrote the database name. We missed the table name, right? So it is
Table.
the error. So now scroll the up arrow, right after the database name test. Just a second, let me do you that. Okay, scroll, click and go right left arrow. You can type right after the test. No, not here. After the test, space hyphen hyphen table space. Now give the table name test two. Okay,